We all know Skyler White in Breaking Bad.
My name is Skyler White
Her husband was Walter White.
My husband is Walter White
The biggest drug lords ever drug lord in the history of drug lords on TV. For the longest time, right after her husband got cancer, Skylar had no idea her husband was cooking blue meth. She had no idea Walt was the one her brother-in-law, the DEA agent, has been hunting down for ages. She had no idea, ladies and gentlemen, that she was married to Heisenberg.
Now, say my name. Heisenberg. You're goddamn right.
For months, the family lived off that drug money, but really what's the difference? This money paid for Walt's treatment and it paid the bills. Now, Skyler eventually found out about her husband's dirty dealings and she was forced to play ball.
There's your side and there's my side, and you haven't heard my side yet. You haven't heard any of it at all.
You're a drug dealer.
She couldn't report him because that would have put her and her children in trouble. So she reluctantly used her skills and her experience in accounting to help clean the drug money and try to keep her husband from getting caught. Now let's talk about the hate Skyler gets. Many people hate Skyler. I do not understand it. I recently started watching Breaking Bad again just because I wanted to really see what it is that people hate about Skyler. And I don't still for the life of me understand this blatant hate for Skyler. It started to make sense to me at some point because the fact that this woman was responding as anybody would in this situation shows that the hate she was getting wasn't necessarily because of what she was doing, but the fact that the writers made us emotionally attached to Walt. We're rooting for this guy. We're rooting for this guy not to get caught. We're rooting for this guy to be able to make so much money to provide for his family, even though we know that the first few batches that he produced would have probably settled his family for life. But we're still rooting for this guy not to get caught even when it is obvious that it's no longer just about his family. Well done, Vince. The point is that what we see is that Skylar she was not immediately jumping on board with what her husband was doing. And what followed was instant backlash. Everybody's bashing Skylar. Everybody's like, she just keeps whining about the things that are not important instead of her to support her husband. Why did she go, have an affair? I'm not saying she should have, but in the light of what happened, people were focused on the wrong things. So this video is an interesting video because I don't think anybody has done something like this before. But I think that I want to look at what would have happened if things had gone down differently. I want to go over the possible different endings that Skylar would have had in this story. And I know some of you are saying things like, what is this? Like, the show is over, get over it. You know what happened, we don't need to relive the story. But I'm not over it yet. I'm sorry, but I'm not. I'm sorry, but I've had sleepless night thinking about all the possible things that could have happened to Skylar if she had had a different approach to this. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys in this video. So you're stuck with me. And it's okay if you don't want to watch this. Feel free to click out of the video at this point. But I think that it would be nice for those of us that did not necessarily have closure on this show to look at the different possible arcs that Skylar would have had in this story. The final arc is a bit juicy, and I'll tell you why. So let's look at all the possible things that Skylar could have done after she found out that she was no longer the wife of a chemistry teacher, but the wife of the biggest drug lord to ever drug lord in the history of drug lords on TV. Before I go on, if you're enjoying this video so far, please subscribe. A lot of people that are watching my videos are not subscribed. I believe like 90% are not subscribed yet. So please subscribe. Please give this video a thumbs up so that people like you who are interested in videos can see this one. And yeah, let's go ahead. Now, the first alternative ending that I thought about for this show was the escape ending. This is basically when Skylar discovers what is going on and she's terrified and she's afraid and she's scared about her safety because sometimes she will go grocery shopping and see that someone random, someone that looks like it's from the cartel is trailing her car, is literally following her around, and she's scared for her kids because sometimes people, just show up at their doorstep and she has no idea who they are. So she decides this is not the best place to raise her kids or raise their kids, right? And she goes on the run. So maybe she runs to New Zealand, like, Jessie is always talking about. And she decides to start afresh as an accountant under a new identity. Maybe her name is now Wendy. Okay. She is constantly looking over her shoulder and hoping that no one from the cartel comes looking for her. So this is her new life now. Even though she moves to a different location, she's not completely at peace. She's still hoping that someone doesn't come looking for her. What do you guys think about this ending? Do you think that she would have made it out here in a new city with her kids? Do you think this is something that she could have possibly done instead of, staying to help cover up the things that her husband was doing? Let me know in the comments what you think about this ending. So let's look at the next ending. So what I imagine here is that there's a shootout between law enforcement and Walt's business partners, and now Skyler randomly and unintentionally gets caught up in this, and so she gets shot. She's rushed to the hospital. They try to keep her alive, but unfortunately they don't. So Skyler is gone, and now Walt is with the kids alone. He's not been caught yet, right? At this point, Skylar only finds out but ends up getting caught up in a crossfire, right? So he's now with the kids alone. He's regretting this terribly. He swears never to go back to cooking again, but it doesn't change the fact that Skylar is gone. Now, what do you guys think? Do you think that the fact that he swears that he will never do this again means that he will never do this again? Because if you're following this show, or if you've been following this show closely, cooking meth is one of the things that no one does better than Walt. He's so good at this that this is not something that he wants to stop doing just because of money. He wants to keep doing this because he's good at it. Let's not forget that Walt takes pride in what he's good at. He believes that he's the best person that can produce this in the meth industry. So what do you guys think? Do you think we end up in a situation where Walt actually probably regrets this, doesn't ever go back to cooking again because his wife is now late? Yeah, let me know what you guys think about this ending in the comments. The third ending I thought about is the station where Skylar makes a deal. Skylar makes a deal. Yes, Skylar makes a deal. So Skylar makes a deal with the DEA, but she can't go scot-free because she has been involved in money laundering. So she gets about 3 to 4 years in prison. And so now Hank and Marie, Hank is dead. So Marie alone is looking after the kids, right? So she's visiting her in prison regularly, and they just proceed with life like that. Of course, Walt ends up in jail. Hank is dead. Walt ends up in jail. So Marie's looking after the kids, and she's bringing her kids to visit Skylar. What do you guys think about this ending? How will she be able to manage life, being locked up in prison, and manage the emotions that come with her seeing her kids just outside of a gate, not being able to really guide them as a parent anymore for the next 3 to 4 years? Would this have been a reasonable ending? And what are some of the potholes that you see wrong with this ending? The final arc is a bit juicy, and I'll tell you why. In this arc, Skylar plays along. Skylar is loving this new life. At first, she doesn't love it. At first, she's repulsed by it, okay? But as time goes on, as she sees that she's able to successfully clean money, they're able to overcome all the competition that they have, all the people that come close. People are now scared of Heisenberg and his family. So she also, is intrigued by this. She loves this. She's enticed by this new world where they both have power and they are using it to their advantage. Now, think about the fact that Stella becomes like Wendy in Ozark, where she gets really good at this, right? And their relationship doesn't take a hit like Wendy and Matter in Ozark, for those of you that have seen it. I'm sorry for those that haven't seen it if I'm, if you're not getting my point here. But this brings her and her husband closer. So Skylar and Walt become closer because of how on board they are, how collaborative they are with this new world that they found themselves. Now, I imagine a station where Walter Jr. gets into tech. He joins the family business. He knows that his parents are now drug dealers. He's now in charge of like digital security in the business, and so they have like way more reach than before. They become multi-millionaires. Holly doesn't know about the family business. They found a way to keep things hush hush, and she has no idea what's going on. She just thinks that they're doing legit business because of obviously how they're cleaning the money. But she's a brilliant, promising adult and she's on the verge of starting college. Walt and Skyler have promised themselves that as soon as Holly is about to get into college, they are going to leave the drug business. They're going to be like, it's over. We're not doing this anymore. We are starting life on a clean slate. But just as they're about to get out of the drug business, guess what? Who can guess what comes next? Guess what? Guess in the comments before I go. Jesse Pinkman has been seeing a therapist. He's now haunted by his guilt and his past, and so he makes a desperate deal with the DEA because he has to find inner peace somehow. So he wears a wire and he gives them Heisenberg. And Walter and Skyler go to jail for a very, 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 very long time. What do you guys think about this ending? Which of these endings do you think will give you more closure to the events that happened in Breaking Bad? Which would you say is also kind of a realistic ending, I guess, for Skyler and Walt? For Skyler, most especially. Let me know in the comments. I'm so interested and I'm really, really, really dying to know what you guys think about this. Thank you for watching this video. I really loved doing it. Let me know what you think about doing deep dives like this and potential arcs to stories like this. Yeah, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye.